Hey right bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Smallland video. Smallland, yes, finally some news, or at least some brand new gameplay. This was shown off a couple of weeks ago. I didn't cover it because I was on holiday, but now we're here taking a look at 5 minutes of gameplay. So I'm going to let it run through as I talk about Smallland and some of the big things to get excited for, and maybe hopefully talking about maybe getting a release date. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I was kind of a little bit disappointed that Smallland didn't come out of any news to the end of the year. It was meant to have released last year, and that was the second time it was meant to have come out, I do believe. Remember the first time it was delayed from early access back in 2021 in November, and then yeah, nothing last year in terms of release date. They had some really good spells last year with loads of info and loads of clips and videos. Then it went a bit dark, so I'm going to explain a little bit about what happened with that as well. So do leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and let's dive into Smallland. So what's gone on? Well, basically, Merge Games got bought out by another company halfway through the year last year, I do believe. So that might have contributed to a little bit of a slowdown, hence why they maybe went a bit dark for a couple of months. And then since then, it looks like they have gone into overdrive. It looks like a lot has been done. And as I said, I tried it a little while ago and I was given permission to talk a little bit about what I liked. And so far, the improvement is massive. I tried Smallland maybe over a year ago now. It was very basic, what you might imagine from a game in alpha, but considering it was meant to have released, yes, I was kind of worried then that the game just wasn't up to scratch. Since then, when I played it, it was filled much more. The world felt much more alive, had much more foliage, and as you can see in here, it seems to have had a lot of care put into it so far. I've still got some concerns about some stuff, but right now, this gameplay video is showing huge progress. Nice cleanup of stuff, really easy to see systems in terms of survival, what you need, either food, your stamina, your health, or the temperature, etc., and a lot more. You can see there we've got nourishment, we have got stamina, and we have got health, so they're going to be the main ones. So yeah, no food and water separate, it's all, I do believe, just one thing, or nourishment food wise is going to be one of the most important. And I like the idea of kind of just banding it all under one, or at least just call it nourishment, instead of having another arbitrary thing that we have to manage. Especially as you're not going to be able to go swimming in the water for a while yet. It does look like that might be something that you added during early access. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? You might have seen it already. If you've been following their socials, you should give them a shout. But this is a pretty cool little look. It's narrated also by, I do believe, community manager for Smallland as well. And it's just showing off a whole bunch of the creatures, the foliage, some of the crafting system. And yeah, it is definitely much improved. It's still got that look, that vibe to it. The UI has still got some of the shapes and design that I saw, but it's definitely had a much better cleanup. And you can see here as well, we've got some of the creatures like the brown ant. Now they've been given the name warrior, I do believe. I don't remember seeing that before. I remember there's whole different factions. So a lot of people are going to be comparing this to Grounded. And quite rightly so, to be honest. They're both survival games. They're both set where you're a small creature. It's unavoidable, especially when Grounded's been one of the most popular survival games going the last couple of years. But yeah, actually, Smallland was announced way before Grounded as a game that was coming out, which I've covered the ups and downs of. I would say this is more like Ark Survival Evolved, maybe even Conan Exiles, than it is actually Grounded. Where Grounded does lean into a little bit more RPG, although it's still got some pretty hardcore survival mechanics. I think that the world of Smallland fits more into what people are used to playing games like Ark and stuff. Obviously, with the ability to go and ride a lot of the creatures in Smallland, that makes it a massive difference compared to Grounded, where you only have a few little pets. And yeah, the idea that you're going to get in these creatures to help fight for you, or you're going to be doing factional quests to get special gear or special rewards from certain ones, that's a really big difference as well. And I like that as well, because that's something not a lot of other games really have in it as well. But anyhow, we've already seen that you can slide around, a good way to get around. Obviously, some of the bugs won't want to go in the water just like you, so you can get away to safety. And the night vision mode as well, which looks pretty cool. Now, it's probably like a couple months ago now that I actually tried the new version of it, and it was really cool. Still got a bit of a weird one where a lot of the ingredients for stuff might be quite, I would say, expensive for what you're building sometimes, but it does look like they've reduced that a lot. That was one of the big criticisms I gave it when I first tried it over a year ago. It cost like 20 or 30 pieces of like planks to build like an axe or something. It was off a little bit, but it has massively improved. The world evolves around these trees. These trees are going to be massively important. I'm pretty sure I was told, I could say this as well, that they're going to be part and parcel of how you are able to load into other people's servers. That's a big component. You will be able to play on servers with other players or you can go ahead and have your own little world, I do believe, where no one else will be able to mess around with. Now, this soil beetle was the first time we've seen this as well, but yeah, I do want to talk about the trees, so we'll cover that in a second. But yeah, the combat is kind of what you expect. Little chunky little insects trying to eat your face off as you defend and maybe strafe around and avoid them, hopefully, till you get maybe better firepower or maybe another bug that can actually go in for combat here. It's got the damage numbers on it as well, which a lot of grounded players really wanted to be added to grounded. I've done a few videos now talking about how many different types of bugs there are going to be in the game and which ones you'll be able to ride. And it's got a big choice and selection, so another reason makes it different from other survival games. So anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the gameplay. Really good stuff shown. Let's take a look at the Steam page and have a reminder about what to expect with some of the other parts, and then social media and see some new stuff they've been adding. Now, we don't know when it's coming, but obviously we do know it's going to be an early access game. It is going to have that 10-player multiplayer aspect as well. It's a much bigger survival style game, and it's got lots of different tiers that you're going to be able to build in. It is only going to be a PC game at first, but they do have plans to bring it to console, although no other plans confirmed other than just saying console. But it does look like they're going to be bringing it to all platforms. I don't think there's going to be any kind of exclusivity. They'd have to walk that back if so, because I'm pretty sure they did announce it'd come to Xbox and PlayStation when they first spoke about Smalllands. So yeah, last year I was praising them at the start of the year because they were giving lots of information, lots of Steam blogs, and on their social media going wild. Then they had a period where they went dark, I guess, during the takeover. But ever since like maybe October and onwards, they've been showing off a lot more stuff. So I'm hoping they're going to carry on. In this one, we get to see some of the gnarled swamp. You also get to see some of the weather effects. And that was something that I got to experience firsthand, which was really cool. The actual seasonal changes that will take place. A lot of that's still got to be confirmed in how long it's going to last and stuff. But yeah, it was very interesting to see the landscape that was seemingly filled with bright sunshine turn into a cold, frosty morning. And then a little bit of slow motion with some combat and just seeing the damage that you do into this bug as it ragdolls away and it drops its ingredients and resources. The armors are really going to be special in Smallland. You're going to need to really think about what you want, and the armors that you get and craft from these bug parts will give you different abilities. Not just perks that will give you more damage, but actual ways to maybe traverse the map. If they're a bug that has wings, or a bug that maybe has a harder shell, that might give you a better armor. The lighting in the game looks fantastic as well. I really love the glow of these lanterns, and I'm hoping you'll be able to craft and place these wherever you want. And you can actually see the ice or the water there. It looks like it's frozen over. Now, it might just be a look of the game rather than an actual thing. Obviously, not meant to be jumping in the water, but the devs, when I interviewed them ages ago, did say that in certain times you will have to wait for the season to come in so that you can maybe traverse across certain environments. So it does look like that could be a thing where we're going to be waiting for the water to go hard in the winter so we can get across the different areas. And that is really cool. And then showing off some of the human element. And this was something that I did criticise the first time I played it, which I gave feedback to the devs, was I saw some of the blocking they were doing for some of the real world objects. And I felt like too much of that stuff would kind of take me away from feeling small. But it does seem to have been solved quite a bit. They've blended it in a lot more now, some of these pieces, with the terrain and the fauna. And it does look like it fits in a little bit more, rather than it's just these massive giant structures that seem unassailable or just kind of useless and just there. Grounded can suffer from this as well with certain things they've added to the yard. So it's always crucial in terms of perspective for survival when you're this small, that not everything's just going to be massive that you won't be able to interact with, because it just makes a lot of the environment kind of boring. So I'm glad that it does look like they've toned it down or blended it in a lot better, and I'm keen to see what other remnants of the human race we may find. And this one's pretty interesting. How about a lost set of keys as a base decoration? I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny. It could be interesting if you could do that kind of thing yourself. It does look like this might just be somewhere that you can find though. And for the musically inclined, how about building your base underneath a guitar, which has been precariously placed here as well. So yeah, it's nice. I guess the landmarks there, maybe since it's not going to be a confined backyard, it is going to be a big open forest area where it might have been a town and there's lots of things like a swimming pool and stuff like that in the game. It does need maybe some of these bigger pieces to make sure that it's a proper landscape and it's a proper point of interest that you'll be able to recognise and go to from a distance. Otherwise, I guess it could be just too similar with having just too many trees and big rocks. And then the ladybugs in this game, you can see here the little one. Yeah, it does look like some of these creatures aren't always going to be super friendly. Now, from when I played it and we saw trailers, it looks like a lot of the ladybirds were friendly, but these are nocturnal ones, and they look like they are absolutely destroying this base here. So it does look like it's not going to be cozy, just cozy. You may have to really think about proper base defenses, although they might want to turn that down just ever so much. What I really took away from playing it was the real emphasis on giving you a good start. Not tutorials filled with longness, but actually guiding you through as you emerge from the underground. Visit a couple of NPCs to get you to grips with what you're meant to be doing, and then go out and explore and take the world at your own pace. As I said, the trees are important. I think it will be clarified properly soon. So of course, when I sat down with their marketing guy, Danny, and had a good play of this, obviously I did ask, when's it coming? I kind of felt like I knew it weren't going to be in 2022. I was a bit disappointed they didn't at least put a post out saying, hey, we're not going to make it this year, we're going to do it next year. But it does look like it'll be sooner rather than later. Like, I'm expecting this now maybe to come out in the first half of 2023. I could be wrong on that, but judging by how many delays they've had now and revamp focus, and they've had new devs work on it and stuff in the last year, I think this game will be out in the next 3 months or so. So I'll be over it, be covering it, and I think it fits really well with my grounded content. So we can both keep surviving in a small world. Let me know what you think about Smallland, what you like about it, what you think's unique about it, or what you don't like about it. And I'll see you right back with some more info as soon as we get any about Smallland soon. Bye-bye.